Okay, guys. How you guys doing? What I'm gonna go over today is the quotient rule, and you guys have seen this before in algebra. I think you even saw it in eighth grade. So it's just like a little refresher. But of course, I'm gonna go over the rule, what it means, and then I'll do some examples so you guys can be able to do your assignment. So the quotient rule is just a fancy term, right? It's a fancy term that what do you do when you divide variables, when you divide the letters? So the rule says, and actually you can see it here on your screen, it says the rules of exponent, which is and we're going to be working with the quotient rule today, right? So the rules of exponents. And when I talk about exponents, I'm talking about the little number at the very top, right? So we have little numbers at the very top next to letters, like I drew the little two up there. It could be a two, a three, a four. It can be any number. It can even be negatives, but we'll talk about negatives later on. So the rules of exponents, right? Every time we multiply, divide, add and subtract letters, which are the variables, like the x, the y, and the z, what do we do with the little numbers on top? So if you take a look at the quotient rule, we're going to work with the quotient rule today. And quotient, right? Quotient just means the answer of a division problem. So we're going to be dividing, but we're not only going to be dividing, we're going to be also subtracting today. So if you take a look at the rule says this. When you divide, right? When you divide two letters, right? Like the x and the x, when you divide the letters, right? What do you do with the exponents on top? So when I'm talking about the exponents, I'm talking about the little numbers on top, which is over here m and n. So when you divide letters, all you have to do is you keep the same letter, right? And you subtract the chiquitos. You subtract the numbers on top. I know it might not make sense yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and do some examples, and you guys, it's not hard, right? And this is what I use to remember this rule. When you divide letters, what do you do with the exponents, with the chiquitos on top? You subtract them. So again, when you divide letters, what do you do with the chiquitos on top, with the exponents? You subtract them. So let's go ahead and do some examples, and it's gonna become clear. Okay, so let's go ahead and work out three examples. And the first example, we have x to the fifth power. We have x to the sixth power, this one right here, divided by x squared, x to the second power. So remember, the rule is this. You keep the letter, right, x divided by x. You keep the x, and you subtract the chiquitos on top. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 5 minus 2, and that should be 3. So my exponent is going to be 3. And that's it. That's the answer right there. You can't do anything else. My answer would be x cubed. So even though we're dividing, right, we're actually subtracting the exponents. So take a look at the next one. We have x to the eighth divided by x to the sixth power. Okay, so we keep the x, we subtract the exponent. So I'm going to subtract 8 minus 6, and that's going to leave me 2. So my exponent should be 2. Easy. One more. Now, this one is a little bit different, or looks different, because we're not only working with x, now we're working with the letter m. Hey, don't worry about it. Even if they change the letters, you divide m with m, x with x, y with y. Another thing that I want you to notice is that you might be thinking, hey, the one at the bottom doesn't have an exponent. Well, it does, right? Remember that the exponent is a 1. Even though we don't see it, it should be a 1. So let's go ahead and work this one out. Dividing m cubed divided by m to the first power, right? We're going to keep the m, and then we subtract the exponents, right? Whenever you divide letters, what do you do with the exponents? You subtract them. So 3 minus 1 should be 2. So this should be squared right there. Hey, easy stuff. Now, what happens instead of one letter? What happens if they give you two letters now, right? Two variables. Well, you do it the same way, right? You do it the same way. You work x's with x's, you divide y's with y's, m's with m's, and n's with n's. So let me go ahead and work out this first part right here, which is the x's. And over here, I'm going to work the m's too first. And then I can go ahead and work out the y's. On this side, on the second example, I'm going to work out the n's first. So you take it step by step, right? Don't rush through it. So if we work out the first one, right, we're working with the x's, so you keep the x, you subtract the exponents, which is 3 minus 2, right? We subtract the exponents, and that's going to give me 1. So remember, guys, we really don't have to put the 1 if we know it's a 1 right there, right? Remember, in math, every time you have an exponent as a 1, you don't have to put it, so I'm going to go ahead and take it away, right? And then we're going to work with the y's. Okay, so take a look at the y's. We have y raised to the eighth divided by y raised to the third power. We subtract them, 8 minus 3. Right, we subtract the two exponents. And we're going to be left with y, 8 minus 3 should be 5. So that's it. X to the first power times y to the fifth power. You cannot do anything else with those two. That would be your answer right there. Let's work out another one. M to the 10th divided by m to the 8th. If we subtract, now I'm going to try to do mental math now. 10 minus 8, 10 minus 8, 2. So m squared for the first one, right? We subtracted these two. And then the second one, which is the n, 4 minus 4, that's 0. So, oops, what's going to happen here? Um, for that one, these actually are going to actually cancel out. So for this one, I'm going to go ahead and take out the n, right? I'm not going to go ahead and put it because they canceled out. They reduced to actually 1. That's what's happening there. So of course, we're not going to put it. That would be our answer right there. So every time you have, like in this case, we had the n to the fourth divided by n to the fourth, which is actually the same number with the same exponent. Boom, they're reduced to 1. You take it away. You can scratch it out. Okay, guys. Now, these examples right here, not only do they have multiple letters, they also have numbers. Oh my God. Now, hey, don't worry about it. The numbers, you guys have been dividing ever since you could remember, ever since you were in elementary. So the numbers, you treat them the same way. If I work out the numbers, right? Nothing special about the numbers. You're going to divide them like always. You can even use a calculator for this if you still have trouble dividing. How many fives go into 10, right? 10 divided by 5. How many fives go into 10? 2, right? So 10 divided by 5 is 2. Nothing special, nothing fancy. Now with the letters, remember, whenever we divide letters, what do we do with the exponents? Boom, we subtract. So x, let me go ahead and work this part out now. I have x, 3 minus 2, that's going to be 1, right? But remember, we don't have to put the 1, so I'm going to take it away. And that's it. That's going to be our answer, 2x. Okay, so that expression right there gave us 2x. Let's go ahead and work out the next example. I'm going to go ahead and work out the numbers first, right? We're going to divide the numbers like always. 12 divided by 2. How many 2's go into 12? 6. So my coefficients should be 6, which are the big numbers. Now let me just work out the letters. Now I'm going to start with the m's first. I'm going to work out the m's, right? M divided by m to the 10th divided by m to the 8th should be m 10 minus 8. Boom, should be 2. And the next one, let me go ahead and work out the ends, right? And remember, right, we just worked out another example that looked similar to this. N to the fourth divided by n to the fourth. If we subtract the 4 minus 4, that's going to give us 0. So the ends reduce to 1. We take it away. So, of course, that's going to be our answer right there, right? 6m squared. That's it. Now, the last example that I'm going to work with you guys, it's going to be a pretty big example. Don't be scared whenever you see examples like this. Like, take a look at the last one. Oh, that one's a monster of an expression right there. They want us to divide all of that. Divided by all of that, can barely even divide numbers. Do not be scared, guys. Remember, take it slow, piece by piece, and you'll be able to work it out. Remember, we've been dividing numbers since we were little. So when we divide the constants or the coefficients, the big numbers, 9 divided by 3. How many 3's go into 9? Boom, that's 3. So we work that first part out. We should get a 3 at the very front. Now you take it letter by letter. Take a look at the second variable, which is, or actually the first variable, which is m to the 7th divided by m to the 4th. When you divide variables, when you divide letters, all you do is subtract the exponents. So 7 minus 4 should be 3. right? So we got rid of that one right there. Let me work out the ends, right? Let me go ahead and work out the ends right here. We have n to the third divided by n to the third. Oh, we have the same. So what's going to happen there? Boom, they're going to reduce to 1. 3 minus 3 is 0. We don't have to put the ends. We're good. Let's work with the O's now. All right, let's go ahead and work out with the O's. We have O to the 6th divided by O to the 5th. All we do is subtract. So we should have O to the 6 minus 5 should be 1. But remember, we do not put the 1. So I'm going to go ahead and erase it. And let's go ahead and work out the last one, which should be the p's. And if you take a look at the p, 2 minus 2 is 0. So boom, that's out right there. So as you can see, all of that expression, it looks scary at the very beginning, but we worked it out piece by piece. And if you take a look at this one, the only thing we were left with was 3m to the third times O. This is not 0, this is O. So as you can see, guys, dividing letters or working with the quotient rule is not hard. All we're doing is when we get big numbers, we divide like always, like the big numbers. And when you divide letters, all you have to do, subtract the exponent. So as you can see, guys, it's not hard. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask me so I can go ahead or message me through Google Classroom and I can go ahead and answer any questions that you guys might have. So I'll go ahead and post up this video. So if you didn't get to join the live session, you can go ahead and watch the video and try the assignment. Thank you guys for watching.